To Bernama today with me, Sue, and in the studio right now I have Alvin Vong, who is a market analyst,
yes,
right?
yes.
And he is coming from EquitiesTracker. He is also the CEO of EquitiesTracker. So today we would like to talk about women not investing enough or do not like to invest, which is a big deal, yeah, to you?
Yeah, I think it's it's something that we hardly talk about.
Okay.
So I'm from EquitiesTracker and we're in stocks, and one of the interesting stats that came out from Bursa was that in terms of account holders, 65% are men and 35% women.
Right.
So very heavily weighted.
And on top of that, there's also another statistic saying that women live longer than men.
Yeah, exactly. So last year the Department of Statistics in Malaysia, they do one I think every 5 years. So in 2011, women on average live 4.7 years longer than men.
Okay.
And the interesting news is that in 2017 when they did it, it's the same except that now we live half a year longer.
Okay.
Right,
So it means longer. And
yeah.
I also read somewhere that, people when they retire, they don't have enough money.
Yeah.
Throughout their retirement age, and by that statistic, when you say women live longer now, they need more money.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So the other thing that they could do besides marrying a rich guy is to invest for themselves.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
that doesn't translate in what statistics that you got from Bursa.
Yeah. That's very different from what they need,
right,
and what they're actually doing right now.
Okay. So why do you think investing is important for women?
I think first of all, I think investment is important for everybody.
Okay.
Right. And if you look at what we do on a daily basis, we work, get married, have children, and life goes on. But I think we forget about that part where at some point we need to stop working.
Right.
So when I say work, basically stop exchanging time for money.
Okay.
So where you just have time, and where's the money going to come from?
Right.
So statistically, if you look at it, just by saving and putting into your EPF, it's not going to be enough, right? EPF have come out with stats and said that after retirement, most of the members finish it within 5 years.
Within 5 years.
Yeah.
We go for holidays.
Holidays,
renovation,
renovation, correct,
right, things like that. Okay.
Yeah. So especially when you get older, we have to factor in a little bit more cost, right? So when we're younger, our medical bills are low. Right?
Okay.
When we age, I mean that's just
so many things clicking around, like elbows and knees and things like that. Okay, I have to admit, I'm guilty of. I do not invest in anything, for one reason and one reason only.
Yep.
Because I'm afraid that I might lose my money. Because I've read so many things about people losing money.
Yep.
Therefore, you know what? Like you said, enough with my savings. I have enough of EPF. And hopefully, though, I wish I could live as healthy as I could, but not too long.
Right,
so that I have sufficient money for me to just survive until I die.
Yeah.
Okay, but obviously that doesn't usually go your way. Okay? Right. So for someone like me who has this fear of losing money, what kind of advice can you give me?
I think first of all, investments definitely carry more risk than putting the fixed deposit. I think that's for sure, right? I guess what we need to start looking at investments in a slightly different way. So if you're afraid to lose money, so I think one of the main problems when it comes to stock investments, a lot of people go in and how do they go in? They say, hey, what stock to buy?
Right.
They ask their friends or family, which really
doesn't do anything.
That's not a good strategy, right? That's not a good strategy to begin with. And what happens is that when you do that and you lose money, and then it sort of spreads this fear that everyone lose money.
Right.
So how we actually approach it is that we need to be very data driven.
Okay.
Right. So we
means the person is I have to be data driven.
You have to be data driven.
Okay.
Right. So if you're picking a stock, you must know why.
Okay.
Right. And there's some very basic things you can do. Very basic. So at EquitiesTracker, what we do very simple stuff. Right. We try to look for companies that have been profitable every single year for the last 10 years.
Okay.
They've paid dividends every year for the last 10 years. They've got cash flow for the last 10 years.
Right.
So those are very basic stuff that you can just go online and search. With Google, so easy. Right. And when you have that, what happens is straight away you narrow down the stocks or fairly good stocks that will last you the long run, right? And I think to answer the question about fear, if you look at investment, if you know, yes, there's a possibility of losing money, so that's where you diversify.
Okay.
Right. So say example, if I put $1,000 in one stock, would it be okay if it fell 30%?
Oh, okay.
Right. But if I spread it over 10 stocks,
okay. So it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It's very small, right?
Right.
So you lose 3,000 over 10,000, right?
So you mentioned that I need to equip myself with knowledge, especially on the stocks.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds a little bit time-consuming. If, let's say, if I'm married and have a couple of children, and they're all growing up, I don't think I have time for that.
You know, that is precisely what we're trying to say. We're saying that, look, let's not complicate things in the sense that, in fact, the least time you have, the better I think you're probably going to perform.
Why?
Because if you look at statistics, if you remain in the market long enough over a long run, because stock markets go up over the long run, and it's like a 100-year study, right?
Yeah.
You actually still end up better.
Okay.
Yeah, because where you started from and where you're going to end up with, is going to be more. As in you're going to make more money, because generally inflation kicks in, a lot of stock prices also go up.
Right. Yeah. And another thing about investment, when people say, you should start investing in stuff, investment sounds huge. I need a lot of money.
Yeah.
And most of women, they're housewives.
Yep.
The only money that they receive will be from the husband. That will be like what, tiny amount, 100 to 100 ringgit.
Yeah.
So is that sufficient enough for me to start investing?
I think that's a very good point.
Okay.
Most people think that we need a lot of money.
I need 100,000 to invest. No.
You can start. Look, so on Bursa Malaysia, the minimum amount of shares that you buy is 100.
Okay.
So if you find a stock which is $1 at 100, that's it. That's $100. You can start investing.
Yeah, but are those good stocks?
Yeah, you can find good stocks.
Okay.
You can find good stocks at $1, $2, $3, right? So you don't need to start with a lot. And I always tell people, right, what if can you put aside $10 a day?
Okay.
You could,
manageable,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So if you do that over a period of time, let's say a year, that's 3,650. You can buy at least 2 or 3 stocks, easy.
Right, and good ones.
Yeah, good ones. Yeah,
right.
Exactly, yeah.
And, and you also would like to promote women investing at an early age, not like when they reach 50, when they almost retire and things like that. Yeah. Why would you advise things like that?
I think my wife always tells me, she a lot of women today have to work, right?
Yes. Besides taking care of the family and things like that.
Taking care of family, so they're really superheroes of families, right? And my wife always tells me she feels very guilty working because leave my son at home, right? But if you think about why this is happening today is because inflation has caught up. Of course, our needs have also caught up.
Right.
So everyone wants to earn more money, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about starting early, actually the earlier you start, the better off you're going to be.
How early should someone be starting to?
The earliest you can start is 18, right?
Okay.
But even if you don't invest for yourself,
right,
you can always invest for your toddlers, right? Or your children. You can start them early, put it under your name.
Okay.
Right? So when they turn 18, then they can take over a portfolio. And look, that might even cover
their education.
Education, right?
Right, college fees and things like
exactly.
that. Right, okay, besides the reasons that I gave you, like, I don't have time, I'm afraid of losing money and things like that, what kind of other reasons that you hear from women who does not want to invest or start investing?
I think the biggest question is, I don't know where to start.
Yeah, it's true as well.
Straight away, right? Where do I start?
Right.
And I think being in the industry, I think we all recognize it. And one of the difficult things is that there are very few options right now. We can just go online and set it up. It's still quite clunky. It's a little bit different.
So many numbers, so many
numbers, right?
Yes.
So actually, what Bursa has actually come up with very recently is quite interesting. They said, get started with 3 clicks. You just go online, put in your name, and someone's going to call you.
Right. So this is Bursa. Okay.
Yeah. So it's Bursa itself. So I think it was a very good initiative because you need to break it down because it's where do we start, right?
Okay.
And I think the other answer to that, where do we start, is that I always tell people invest in businesses you're familiar with.
For example?
Right, for example. So if you go to a supermarket, what do you spend your money on?
Food.
Food, right? So any specifically, I need to drink Milo, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Milo, right? So and Nestle is the company that produces Milo.
Okay.
So if you had bought Nestle, say 5 or 10 years ago, you would have easily tripled, quadrupled your money.
Yeah, see, the thing is, you're talking about 5, 10 years ago when it was cheaper then.
Correct.
So if I think of buying it now, I don't think I have enough money to buy it.
Okay, so here, so apart from Nestle, of course, there are other companies.
True.
But even when you go shopping, look at businesses that do really well, right? You know, and I mean, one of the examples that I quote and explain, you know, have you heard of Padini or Brands Outlet?
Oh yes,
or
clothing things.
Clothing, right? So that's something that, you know, we all can go to a shopping mall and understand, right?
Right.
And if you look at them, I mean, if you invested 10 years ago to now, your return is 12 times, 1,200.
Okay.
And this is something so simple, like you can understand, right? You know, I know, you know, women shop at Vinci or Brands Outlet and so on and so forth. So I think one of the things that you must look out for if the company continue to do better, right? Especially when it comes to businesses that you must understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You gave us examples where there are big companies, and I think you gave us a way to do it. Like you save up money and then you buy a good stock.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to start, but I really want to start from the very beginning.
Yep.
And I'm looking at all the stocks.
So many, right?
Right. So many.
Yeah.
And how do I choose from the good and the bad ones?
Oh, okay.
And I only have this amount of money to invest. So how do I choose?
So remember I mentioned that, you know, at EquitiesTracker we actually do filter some of them.
Right.
And later at the end, you know, we actually have a link that, you know, you can download. We actually have done the work for the viewers. For you guys.
Right.
These are all the companies that make profit, pay dividends, and they have cash flow as well.
Okay.
And you know, that's one way to start. Now the other way to start is, you know, look at your monthly budget. What do you spend most money on?
Right.
Could be multiple things, right?
Right.
Or you spend a lot. Say example, right? You fly. Let's say you travel a lot for holiday.
Okay.
So regardless where you travel to, you still have to pay airport taxes, right?
True.
And Malaysian airports are actually listed on the stock exchange, right? So you can actually buy that and invest. So it's the same thing, right? So it's almost like money coming back to you.
Okay. So you don't pay anything at the end of the day.
You don't pay anything, right? Or look at, like you spend a lot of time on your phone. Phone bills. Most of the telcos are listed on the exchange, right?
I think the other question that I think women would say, yeah, but how long should I wait until I earn enough? You know, let's say, do I need to wait until it doubles or triples? Do I wait? Do I buy now or sell now? So that's another question, because I don't think women would like to think about all those things unless they are interested in stocks. You know, they would just think, I just want money at the end of the day. That's it. Yeah. So how should we do this? How do we manage this? When to buy, when to sell?
I think, you know, statistically, you know, we went through a lot of studies, right? And one thing we found, which is quite interesting, right? Actually, timing over the long run does very little for good stocks.
Okay.
So even you buy a good stock at a very high price.
Okay.
Over 10 years, let's say over 10 years, you are still better off.
Okay.
That's what we found, which means, and we did a very simple study, right? We said, look, how about at the beginning of the year, on the 1st or 2nd of January when the markets open, I invest the money that I've saved for the year. And I just keep doing that for 10 years.
Right.
The returns came out very shockingly, almost 4 times, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, in the same stocks that we talked about.
Right.
So timing, you know, timing is not a very heavy factor when it comes to buying
big stocks.
Good stocks.
Okay.
Over the long term.
Okay.
Good stocks, yeah.
So the things that we need to worry if it's just a small stock, and then you need to worry whether they're doing well or not.
I think no. I think good stocks generally, they don't have to be big or small. They can be big or small.
Okay.
But good stocks with good businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
And you also, you mentioned earlier that it's nice that if you could start investing at an early age.
Yeah.
What if, you know, now that we have a little bit more money, we're more relaxed at work, you know, you have your position. I think I have more money to do something with my money.
Yeah.
So let's say someone is at 40 or 50 years of age.
Yeah.
Is that too late to invest?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
One of the things that we always try to tell people is that, look, you know, we found that good stocks, if you find it over time, including dividends, they give you about 10 to probably up to 15% return per annum, right?
Right.
So it means that you actually get to double your money every 5 years.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of money, example, X amount. So if you're at 40, let's say you retire at 60, you effectively have 4 doubling periods.
Right.
right? So that means if you put 100,000, it becomes 200,000, 200,000 becomes 400, 400 becomes 800.
Yeah.
So it ends up quite a fair chunk, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I never believe it's ever too late to get started.
You can start at any age, but obviously it's better if you start younger.
Yes.
Right?
Of course, because one of the things that, money is something I believe.
Yeah, but when you're younger, you need more of your money. See, especially women, you want to buy makeup and things like that. You want to go out.
Yeah.
So I think besides asking or promoting, like you advising people that you need to start investing, something needs to be done. Maybe do a policy, government make a policy that every woman should start investing or things like that. What do you think?
Well, I think that's a good idea. I mean, you don't have to start off big. It's just like how we start off with contributing EPF, right?
Right.
Whatever that small percentage. So, say do something simple like 10% or even 5%. I think it goes a very long way.
Right. Okay. We're almost to the end of the program. So, what kind of advice would you like to give women out there, especially housewives and things like that, for them to start investing, not only for themselves but also for the family?
I think for the housewives out there, I believe that actually you have that because you don't have to be out of the home and in the office and get involved. You actually have a bit more time to get it right? And you can always start investing. And leave it over a long run and actually see what happens, because maybe don't tell your husband about it, right?
Right. It's your money.
Yeah, it's your money, right? Exactly, right. So we've actually put up a link and you can go and download it just have a look and get started.
Right. I think the other thing that that I know about investing is that people think, like you mentioned earlier, Bursa had made it clear or made it easy that if you want to start investing, there are only 3 steps.
Yeah.
But not many people know about that. People say, "Oh, you have to go to a broker," which you need to pay these people as well.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that?
I think doing that simple step, removing that friction.
Right.
I call it friction. There's a lot of friction in the industry. It's a huge move, right? And we need to address the ones who are not sure. We got to explain that the stock market's not for only economists or accountants or people
with money.
Or only people with money, right? You go there because you want to engage in the growth of the country, right? And that's where you're gonna gain a lot.
Right. Yeah. And getting women, and you know that women are plenty right now in Malaysia. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you this. Should we invest in local companies?
Yep.
Or overseas or international companies? Based on our current economy.
Based on our current economy. So if you look at Malaysia, Malaysia is what you classify as an emerging economy. And if you really look at it, emerging economies is where you get that growth. Right. So our growth is going to be much higher than, say, a lot of the advanced economies, right? Because they've already reached that peak. And I invest personally in a lot of local stocks. Why? Because I believe that being here, I actually have an advantage because I can see what's happening to the business. Let's say, if I go to a shopping mall, I can see if this business is doing well.
Right.
Where if you invest in foreign stocks, you don't have that advantage.
What's happening there.
Right, exactly. Right.
Okay. So it will also help our local economy, right? In a way.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alvin, for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Investment. And thank you so much for tuning in to Bernama today. Until we meet again real soon, I'm Surati Sadusi. Stay tuned to Bernama News Channel, where it's all about you.